Okay, Commissioner Lazar,
Here.
Commissioner Freitas,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Kraft,
Here.
and Commissioner Benson.
Thank you. We will salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will table approval of minutes and move to oral communications. This would be the time for people to speak on things that are not on our agenda this evening. I'm not seeing any hands raised. And no one here.
If anybody wants to speak on Zoom, raise your hand.
Okay, we will close oral communications and move on to public hearings new for the Norsey Coastal Development Permit 1-year extension.
Senior Planner Savage will be presenting. Oh, host disabled my screen. Oh, Raylene, can you?
Yep, I just did it.
Awesome. Let me attempt this. Hide. Sweet.
Ready?
Yep.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight we have an application for a 1-year extension of CDP 21-0010 for the Norsey Improvement Project at 2710 Broadway. The approval is set to expire in May 2024. Here's the general project location. Zooming in closer, the parcel currently occupied as Discount Cigarettes is outlined in red. And zooming in a little closer, you can see the project location is on Highway 101, south of Vigo Street, and In-N-Out Burger. The area, there you go. The area outlined in blue shows where the proposed expansion will occur. The addition to the building footprint will include a new facade for the exterior of the building that will match the buildings in the adjacent newly developed Pacific Plaza Shopping Center. There will be new landscape planters and 12 parking spaces, including 8 standard spaces, 3 compact spaces, and 1 ADA compliant space. The front of the building facade, north or towards Habit Burger, will also include an accessible path of travel for pedestrians with a ramp up to the sidewalk and bicycle parking. The site has a general service commercial land use designation, is zoned service commercial, and is listed in the coastal zone, and development in the coastal zone requires a conditional coastal development permit. In September 2021, the city received an application requesting approval of a CDP for the Norsey Improvement Project for Discount Cigarettes. On February 25th, 2022, the Director of Development Services held a public hearing and adopted Director of Development Services Resolution number 2022-05, conditionally approving the CDP for the project. 2 appeals from aggrieved persons were received within the 10-day appeal period, and in response to that, the Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 11th, 2022 for the 2 appeals, and voted to continue the hearing until their next regularly scheduled meeting on May 9th, 2022 to give staff time to address requests made by the Planning Commission. Staff then approved the Planning Commission. Staff then approved the plan at the Planning Commission with an addendum, and at the May 9th, 2022 meeting, the Planning Commission adopted resolution number 2022-10, sustaining the Development Service Director's conditional approval of CDP 21-10. A CDP lapses and becomes void if construction or implementation of the permit has not commenced within 2 years from the date of final local approval. Eureka Municipal Code provides local procedures for a 1-year extension upon a written request received prior to the expiration date of the approval. The request may be granted upon making the findings that no substantial change of circumstances has occurred, and the extension would not be detrimental to the purposes of Chapter 5 of Eureka Municipal Code, which is the coastal zoning regulations. The applicant applied for building permit B23-0412 in April of 2023 and needs more time to complete requested revisions and provide responses to Development Services Building and Planning Review comments. The plan revisions do not change any approved improvements or conditions associated with the CDP. Therefore, no changed circumstances have been identified, and the findings of consistency with Chapter 5 and certified policies in the city's local coastal program remain accurate. The CDP is currently set to expire May 19th, 2024, 2 years from the end of the 10-day appeal period on the Planning Commission's action on May 9th, 2022. The 1-year extension of the CDP would be until May 9th, 2025. Recommendation is hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution approving with conditions a 1-year extension of the Norsey Coastal Development Permit. I have a suggested motion for you, but we'll stop screen sharing for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I will bring it to commissioners for questions for staff.
I just wanted to clarify, so no component of the project has changed. I thought I read in the resolution that there was some change in the building permit submittal that was going to be addressed at the commission.
I don't remember having anything in there from the building department.
Okay.
And the only things outstanding for the planning department approvals are the lighting. I think that's about it, just the lighting, the outdoor lighting. Oh, and a tsunami safety plan.
Yeah, there's this section in the resolution that says the applicant submitted building plans in April 2023, and the plans cannot be approved as they require revisions that must be resubmitted for approval, which cannot be completed before the expiration of the permit.
That's correct. Yes, they
Okay.
do have revisions to the plans for the building permit, but they don't significantly change the project.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have two questions. One kind of general education, one specific to this. On something like this, an extension, do we go back out for public comment? I mean, do we notice the neighbors, that kind of thing?
It's a public hearing, so yes, it's
Okay.
noticed.
And did we receive anything?
We didn't receive any comments.
I guess I had a question more about procedure. Just, I don't know, maybe, I think we've done a few other extensions, but I don't remember. Is there specific findings in the code that are unique to extensions? I didn't see them in the resolution or in the staff report, but maybe I missed them. And I was curious if you could tell us what those are.
It depends on what we're extending. The inland zoning code has anything that is approved under the inland zoning code. There's extension provisions that apply to any of the permits under there. But then our subdivision map act regulations are in a different section of our code, and they have their own extension. And then in the coastal code, there's different extension provisions for the different types of permits. And so CDP has its own language that should have been quoted in the staff report.
Okay. If you want to see it, we can pull the slide back up.
Yeah, I noticed on one of the slides you said no change circumstances and consistency with Chapter 5.
Yes, correct.
So that Chapter 5 is the coastal zoning code.
Right.
And no change circumstances. That's pretty typical of CDP extensions.
So the finding in the code would say something like that there are no change circumstances since the project was approved, and the other was that it remains consistent with the coastal zoning regulations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also that they have to apply
before it expires.
before it expires.
Right,
And it
right.
has to be in writing.
Timely
And they met
filing.
those.
Gotcha. And is a 1-year extension pretty customary, or do we have the ability to grant more than 1 year if needed?
They could do 1 or 2 years, but chose just to do 1 year.
Right. Okay, thanks. That's all.
I am curious though about other jurisdictions and how long they extend for, because coastal development permits especially could take a while to get built, projects that need them, you know. Something we'll research. We'll put on the list of code things to research.
Should we assume then that they expect to break ground in the next year, or because they had the opportunity to ask for 2 years, the applicant?
That's my understanding, yes.
Seeing as they have an active building permit, I was encouraged by that. So it seems like that should be ample time.
Okay.
Okay, can I talk here? It's,
We'll open up for public comment in just a moment.
Okay.
Any further questions for staff? Okay, we will open up for public comment. Just keep in mind you'll have 3 minutes to address the commission and to make your comments. So it sounds like you must be the applicant and eager to speak. iPhone 3. If you want to just announce your name.
Okay. My name is Umijan Niazi, and I'm the applicant here. So just following your discussion on the number of years for the request for the extension. So yeah, we applied for 1 year. So we believe that we can complete we can pull the permit in this 1 year. And in case we need more time, I understand that we can apply for another year, or we should request the current application for 2 years. If you can clarify this, please.
You could apply for 1 more year if you were not able to finish the building code requirements.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we will close public comment and move back to the commission for motion and discussion.
I am willing to make the motion. If you could bring up that slide, Senior Planner Savage. And I guess if there's other discussion, we can discuss it after we have a motion in a second. I move the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to conditionally approve a 1-year extension for the Nurezi Coastal Development Permit for a commercial remodel and addition at 2710 Broadway until May 19th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. We'll move down the list, which is nothing left unless you have anything. Does anyone have new business?
Yeah, I have a few things to bring up, just newsworthy things. If you recall, we had a coastal development permit for a lot line adjustment down on ag land on the south end of town, Carrington Company. That got appealed to the city council, and they upheld your approval, and then that got appealed to the Coastal Commission, and today the Coastal Commission found no substantial issue with our local approval, so the local approval stands Just thought you guys would be interested in that one, since you acted on it first. And then we are working on affordable housing project with rural communities, or Rural Housing Development Corporation for Sunset Heights, above Broadway. And they we had an initial public meeting, and now they've developed some conceptual plans. So they're going to be taking that to City Council, hopefully on May 7th, just to get feedback on that before they move forward with more design work. And then another one, the Housing Authority is doing a project down south of Winco, where they're redeveloping existing affordable housing, and that is going to design review on April 24th. So that's another big project that we'll be hearing about soon. That's it that I can think of.
And what was the determination about the overlay zone for the Jacobs?
Right. The council voted to direct staff to work on a mixed neighborhood overlay zone. So we're working on hiring a consultant and hopefully having a public meeting in late May, and getting a Talk Eureka website up by then too, and maybe a survey of some sort to start going on public input.
What would be the timeline to complete that project?
We need to, once we have the consultant on board, we'll talk with them and get a timeline firmed up.
Thanks.
Were we planning a special meeting at the end of the month? Was that something? I feel like I got an email about that.
That was one of the options for the Housing Authority, because they also need they need to vacate an alley. So they had the option to come to Planning Commission to do both things, but now we're just going to be conditioning their design review for the need for the vacation, so that they can get that design review hearing. That's the route they took. So,
okay.
But they will be coming to you for that alley vacation at some point.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm up on the meetings.
So no special meeting.
No special meeting.
Okay, great.
Okay. Anything else?
Did we talk at last meeting about the presentation to council?
I apologize. I should have put that on the agenda for this meeting.
We can do it here. Do you want to take the first crack?
Oh, yeah. So our Commissioner Kraft reported to City Council on the vacation rental report, and City Council were in agreement with all of your recommendations and instructed us to follow that timeline and get going. So Commissioner Lazar was there as well. So if you guys want to.
Yeah, I think we were well heard. They did what we hoped that they would do. And, the staff has got a lot on its plate. This is not going to be the top priority, but I probably made a list of 10 at this point. So,
I think you all were instrumental in getting us to move along in our compliance drive. So I think it was well worth it.
Would you say there was any clear informal direction for the commission at this time from the council, or just sort of thank you, we agree?
It was thank you, we agree.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember anything else, Steve?
Sorry. Yeah, I think that was it. It was putting the wheels in motion, the recommendations that we brought to them, and we'll see it materialize into something at the end of that when there's policy decisions to be made. But I think that will come in the later part of that.
I actually think a kind of useful side product, and maybe one of the more useful things that we accomplished was just some of the base data was surprising, like how very tight the rental market actually is.
Yeah, thank you all for working on that and for presenting it too. I'm sure it was a lot of time, so thank you.
And I will say that Commissioner Graff did a great job. Very good presentation and hit all the points very effectively.
I appreciate that. And Assistant Planner Smith,
Ponce.
Hunt,
Yeah, she helped.
she made it very. She made the presentation look really good.
Awesome. Good work. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, we will adjourn our meeting at 5:53. Oh, yeah.